Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The patrons must be thanked as always. Thanks to Alan, Billy, Blizz, Brett, Caleb, Chen, Christoph, David, Edia, Eric, Gary, Joey, the other Joey, Christopher, Matthew, Miguel, Mike, Mathaldu, Rodrigo, Sack Chief, and Z for their support. If you want to support me, links are in the description. Enjoy the video. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out the Hong Kong Massacre. This came out, well, by the time you see it, it'll be yesterday, but this came out today for me on the Steam store. I saw it in the new releases tab, and I thought, that looks a lot like Hotline Miami. I was right. The best way to describe this game is as if John Woo did Hotline Miami, more or less. Except shittier. We'll get into why. Let's go have a look at the options first. Considering that this is a PC game, the actual graphical options actually leave a lot to be desired. It's just graphic quality. No, nothing else. Just graphic quality. Sure, why not? Also, you got your resolutions, but as far as I can... That is a lot of different... I'm guessing it's pulling that from the Windows control panel for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. That's a lot of resolutions. You've also got full screen, but it's just bordered full screen. Like, it's not actually dedicated full screen, which is interesting. Here's your controls. No, you can't change them. This actually kind of pisses me off, because I would really like to be able to use Shift for the slow-mo instead of the spacebar. I have gone for the Shift button so absentmindedly so many times to turn on the slow motion, and it just doesn't happen. Just thought I'd point that out. It actually helped me out kind of a bit, because one of the main challenges in this game is just not using slow motion in a level at all. So yeah, that's the thing. So we're just going to continue and continue on. There is a plot. Basically, your partner got killed by this, I'm guessing it's a triad, and you're going and killing everybody. That's pretty much it. Some friends are helping you out with that. You get a little bit of flavor text every now and then, but the English in the in-game story cutscenes isn't very good at all. It's pretty obvious that English isn't this guy's first language. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's just go hop into where I'm up to. I've already beaten 2 sets of levels, and I'm on to the 3rd. I'm guessing that there's 4, but I'm not going to say for sure. I don't personally know. So, let's just hop in. I've been playing this for about 90 minutes, by the way. It'd be a little bit shorter than that, but I've run into a couple of bugs, which we'll get to. There are also leaderboards. Wrong key. There you go. It's just time attack. Makes perfect sense to me. So let's get into the level. Okay, for some reason it makes you back all the way out, then start the level. Whatever. You can't use a controller in this game. Don't. The reason why is that you have to rely on the dodge button a lot, and the dodge button is bound to the right bumper, while the fire button is bound to the right trigger. And there is no way that you can realistically dodge and fire at the same time, which you absolutely positively need to do. Just bring that up while I remember. So this is your weapon selection screen. You got 4 weapons, and these are the only weapons in the game, by the way. Nothing special has really popped up yet, so if you're expecting that, I'm sorry. And you can upgrade them. Each has 4 different upgrades, and to be fair, every single one of these is useful in some way. Every single one. Like, I've been upgrading my SMG a lot because it's definitely the most useful weapon in the game. But, yeah, you can upgrade any weapon you please, and these will carry over to weapons you pick up on the ground. So let's pick the SMG because it's my favorite, and away we go. So yeah, Hotline Miami, more or less. Of course, there are a couple of things different. You have the ability to turn on slow motion with the shift button. I did it again. I already brought up how I keep pressing shift instead of spacebar. And I did it in the middle of the damn video. Fantastic job, mate. Alright, as I was saying, you do have the ability to turn on slow motion by pressing the spacebar. It's limited, but it regenerates so damn quickly, so it might as well not be limited at all. It's actually kind of surprising that it's limited in the first place. But yeah, you hold slow motion and you are a killing machine. As I said before though, one of the main challenges in the levels is to not use slow motion at all if you can avoid it. You also have a dodge. The dodge is definitely the move you'll be using the most in the game, because while you're dodging, you can't die. You will not get shot whatsoever. And of course, as I said, Hotline Miami, so it is running by Hotline Miami rules. You get shot once, you're dead. That's it. Done. So you do absolutely need to be doing shit like dodging as much as humanly possible, because if you're not, you will pay for it. And that's pretty much it. You got your 4 different kinds of dudes, and they are all the same color, in the sense that the red shirt guys are always going to be carrying around rifles. The yellow shirts are always going to be carrying pistols. The guys with the jackets on, they are always going to have SMGs. That is just how this game's weapon stuff works. Unfortunately, there's one thing that this game doesn't do very well, Hotline Miami-ish, and it doesn't have very many other ways to kill people. If you run out of ammo, you need to get a new gun. There is absolutely nothing you can do if your gun has no ammo. You need to go and get a new gun as soon as humanly possible, because if you don't, you literally can't do anything. Yes, you can wander into the middle of a firefight and get killed because your gun ran out of ammo. This is a thing that can happen. So do not, under any circumstances, walk into a potentially dangerous firefight with no gun. You can see why I like the SMG, because it just tore those 3 dudes apart before they even had a chance to react. Very good thing to have in this game, trust me. So yeah, you are mainly stuck with your 4 weapons. Let's talk about them. The pistol, you start out with it for the most part. You are able to unlock all the other weapons, like, pretty much immediately. Like, if you finish the first level with all the challenge stars, you'll be able to unlock every other weapon. They're very cheap. I will change levels if I die a couple more times, just for the purpose of keeping progress going, because honestly, the levels aren't particularly different. But yeah, as I was saying, the pistol, you start out with it. It's pretty decent. Everything in this game still kills in one shot, except for the shotgun, but we'll get to that. So you have... every gun is useful in some way. So the pistol is good if you want some good precision going, which you could definitely use, because one of the missions in this game is kill everybody without missing a single shot. The 3 missions in this game are kill everybody without missing a single shot, finish the level in X time limit, and what was the other one? Don't use slow motion. Right, so yeah. So you gotta... bollocks, I hit the shift button again, expecting the slow motion, and still didn't bloody get it. Alright, if I die again, I'll swap levels just for the purpose of demonstration. But yeah. Excuse me. Never mind. See, look away for just a second, and that's what happens. Alright, I've got to select the weapon, and then I have to back out here. A little bizarre. But yeah, the weapons. Pistol. Relatively useful. Actually pretty neat. And it's pretty decent, but it's outclassed by the SMG. Rifle. Fires relatively quickly. Actually pretty accurate. However, fire rate is shit, and the accuracy can go to hell on it sometimes, so it's outclassed by the SMG. The shotgun. It runs by video game shotgun rules, which is, if you are, like, within 5 feet of your target, they'll probably die. If you aren't, it's a roll of the dice. So, you absolutely do need to be up close and personal with the shotgun, which, again, means it's outclassed by the SMG. The SMG, practically a buzzsaw, can kill literally anything. Can kill 3 dudes without even trying. One of the best weapon in the entire game, by no stretch of the imagination whatsoever. Yeah, if I had an SMG there, I would have lived. I'm pretty sure the game knows that the SMG is the best weapon too, because they actively make an effort to stop using as many SMG dudes by the time the third set of stages rolls around. But yeah, basically there's no reason to use an SMG ever, because it'll just get you killed. That is the absolute not SMG. There's no reason to use a shotgun whatsoever, it'll just get you killed. Absolutely. Like, even these shotgun dudes are having trouble hitting me from a decent distance away. And their AI is kind of ridiculous. It's actually kind of unfair, because half the time, as soon as you walk into any kind of... even if they're facing away from you, If you walk into a point where they could turn around and see you, they will immediately turn around and fill your ass with lead. So you absolutely, positively need to be ready for them, because if you aren't, you can and will die. Bollocks. It makes the AI kind of unfair to fight, in all honesty, because you'll see this dude wandering away into, like, this toilet here, but as soon as you get close to him, like, you don't even have to fire a shot. He'll know you're there, turn around, and fill your ass full of lead. But even then, they're surprisingly, like, in alert. Gunshots won't set them off half the time, which is really weird. If their enemies, not their enemies, if their friends die next to them, they won't get set off most of the time, which is even weirder. And they have some weird bugs with enemy detection. My favorite example of this is an example that I was playing through before, where I was trying to get this one level done. I already had to do the level twice because the game's a bit of a dick like that. I already had to do the level twice, and when I tried to fight the level, I got up close to an SMG guy, but I managed to run out of ammo just as I was approaching him. So I ended up in this really annoying situation where, let's just slow motion these bastards. There we go. That's what it looks like when you finish the level. Admittedly, that's satisfying as hell. But yeah, I was approaching an SMG guy, and I tried to shoot him, but I was out of ammo. He spun around like a fucking Beyblade for about a second and a half, and then just turned and shot me in the face. I was literally standing right next to him at the time. It was bizarre. It was also really funny. I'll give him that. But yeah, the game does have a little bit in the way of just weird bugs going on sometimes. Most of the levels are exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same, but they're very close to the same in objective, layout, and just general setup. It's actually going to start feeling very familiar very quickly. As far as I'm aware, though, this game isn't actually that long, so it might not outstay its welcome. But yeah, most of the levels are exactly the same. You will have just... Oh, Jesus. Let me just grab that. Most of the levels are more or less the same. Every level has the same objectives except for the boss fights, which is the beat it in a certain time, complete the level without slow motion, complete the level without missing. Every single level has these. And they're all some kind of urban sprawl where you simply need to go and kill everybody. There's no... Except for the 2 boss fights that I've had to do, it's pretty much exactly the same. Now, I will give the game a fair bit of credit. There are some things they absolutely do get right. Like that, for example. Somehow I died there. I'm not entirely sure how. But yeah. I will give the game a lot of credit. A lot of the shit you do in it is satisfying on a base level. Blowing the shit out of people with these gigantic fireworks displays that they call guns is pretty damn satisfying for the most part. The slow motion is really fancy, and god damn it, I get stuck on that shit all the time. The slow motion is really fancy, and the amount of carnage that there is to be simply experienced by breaking through windows, dodging over obstacles, and simply wiping the floor with everyone in attendance is pretty satisfying. However, I have to say there are a bunch of things going on that really do make the game surprisingly hard to play sometimes. There's a couple of things. You can get stuck on the environment a lot. Dodging is surprisingly unreliable because you start dodging, but sometimes you won't be able to tell exactly when your dodge ends, so you don't know exactly how long you'll be invulnerable for. And there is a very, very, very slight cooldown for dodging. So you do need to be very careful about dodging into a firefight, because if you're about to get shot by someone like that, you're screwed, right? Because if you end up dodging only to dodge right in the way of a second bullet, you're not going to be able to dodge a second time before you're dead. As I said before, the game doesn't have that much in the way of variety. You are constantly using guns. There's no melee kills, there's no environmental kills, like slamming people with a door, for example. There's no, like, fancy stealth sections like they had in, try the rifle just for a little bit. There's no fancy stealth sections, just like in Hotline Miami when there was 1 or 2. Just, you know, to break up the flow a little bit. And there doesn't seem to be much in the way of unlockables. Just play the missions again and try and do them faster. Which, you know, honestly, I don't have that big of a problem with that, but considering that this game has so clearly taken inspiration from Hotline Miami to the point where... Considering this game has taken so much inspiration from Hotline Miami to the point where you can hear it in the damn music. Like, this music sounds like something that would be in Hotline Miami. Easy. It seems a bit weird that they didn't take on some of the more unique aspects of the gameplay, like the masks that could give you different gameplay opportunities. It's a little bizarre that they didn't go for that. The aiming itself is also really weird. Like, even... Like, being in slow motion will slow down your mouse. Swapping weapons can sometimes make your mouse act up. And there are just some weird intricacies of the gameplay that you need to get used to right quick, otherwise it will get you killed. The game is also kind of buggy, which is kind of unfortunate. I had to play through a level 3 times because the first 2 times I got through it, there was this bug going on where on this screen here, where the final ragdoll falls over, the game wouldn't give me back control over the menus. It would only let me still control my dude somewhere off screen. I could hear him firing. But that meant I couldn't click continue in order to actually get back to the main menu. So I had to Alt F4 the game. And when I came back, it hadn't gone and saved my progress. Which is unfortunate. None of this changes the fact that the actual gameplay, the actual gunplay and stuff like that is really satisfying. But here is what I would call the first, well, the biggest fuck up, I should say. Because there aren't many fuck ups in this game, but most of them are small. This one is the big one. So this is a boss fight. It's just a dude running alongside you up this corridor. And you need to beat the shit out of him with bullets. There is also a room at the very end that you can go into, but yeah, once you get into that room, you basically are probably out of ammo at this point. So what you need to do is you just need to go and just shoot the dude out here on your way up as much as possible. Just spam that bullet time because it is an absolute crutch at this point in the game. Just spam it because it comes back so quickly you don't need to worry about wasting it. But yeah. You run out of ammo here and you basically have to go back and get the pistols, and if you haven't got your pistols upgraded, you're pretty much done for. I'm just gonna shoot this guy real quick. This is boss number 2, but boss number 1 is exactly the same thing, except boss number 1's got slightly less health. So yeah, not only do they have a really poor excuse for a boss, but they do it twice. At least in Hotline Miami, when they brought along a boss, they either made the level before him really hard, or they made it so that you had to do something special in order to make the boss actually be damaged. Yeah, that is just a colossal fuck up. Like, I honestly don't know what convinced him to design the bosses like that, but yeah. I don't know if the third boss is like that, but considering that the first 2 bosses were exactly the same, I'm going to say that, yeah, it's a bit shit. Also, you can hop over buildings, but that functionality is actually really buggy. One time I tried doing the dive over that, my leg got stuck and I got shot in the face. That was really bizarre. Yeah, I kind of deserved that one. I got cocky and I paid for it. So yeah, that was a quick look at the Hong Kong Massacre. It does a lot right. Shooting the dudes with these guns, which are gigantic fireworks shows, and watching the bodies ragdoll all over the place. Like, look at that. Watching the bodies ragdoll all over the place, super satisfying. Absolutely. Not going to argue, they got that bit right. But there's a lack of unlockables. It's rather unpolished. It's got really bad boss fights, and there's just some shit that just doesn't work in it. Also, it's relatively short, which means the US $20 asking price might be a little bit much for it, not to mention the whole PC, not being able to rebind controls, no graphics options, and the actual controller controls being absolute garbage. There's just a lot of tiny things wrong with it that could easily be solved with a patch. So, with that being said, I wouldn't outright recommend it unless you wait for a sale. Like, this game, 10 bucks or less, probably good for that price. But there's just a lot of minor things wrong with it that have really annoyed the shit out of me in the hour and a half I've spent playing it. So, there you go. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.